Hello and welcome to Live in the Zolkin. In today's episode, we are talking with Kiche, ceremonialist and teacher Apabyan about the days of the Mayan calendar known as NAWALS. We also discuss common expressions, idioms, and associated words in the Kiche language with each Nawal. And for the first time ever, we discuss publicly the gestation cycle and the pregnancy conditions for each Nawal. Check it out. Maybe not once and for all, but at least for now, what are the correct ways of seeing each Nawal? Because I think there's a lot of confusion among many people, and there's a lot of, it's not exactly clear. And so...
Yes, I know it's very difficult to understand. That's something very peculiar because what happens is idiom. You have to learn or to understand a little bit of the meanings of the Nawal according to, at least for example, in my case, how they are expressed in Kiche, in Mayan Kiche ways, which were the words that were attached to them, and then it's really very easy to follow them or to understand them. But the confusions that are present now and all this new age lore and everything that has been constructed is precisely because people tend to see an image and apply contemporary conceptualizations of the same ideas, and everything then gets mixed up.
Yeah, I've been dealing with this problem for 10 years, I think, or as long as I've ever seen the Zolkin. And my friend Josh, he sent me an English and Kiche dictionary. He did. He mailed it to my house, and I have it here. And so, for example, what you were saying about connecting the words to the associated words and idioms and things with the name of the day. So I'll give you this example, and we can talk about this. It's my Nawal, so and then a day in the sacred calendar, and then there's kat chapal kaar fishnet, and then kat tuchik medium cooked, and then katan hot. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. And there's about,
well, in the case of Nawal cat, morpheme of the birth of something that is on flames going down. That is when the fire has already taken most of the fuel, whichever it is, and has already produced fire or something. Kat-ik is
fire destructive, to burn.
To burn, exactly. Is to burn.
Wait, hold on, wait. Kat-ik akwan, to commit adultery.
Ah, well, that's another thing. Because for example, Yesh Katan, we said Yesh Katik Rakan, like to burn the legs, and that is a metaphor also for adultery. But anyways, is the use of the metaphor goes on. The metaphor is like when the fire is used for the benefit or something else, or the heat or the hot or even the energy, if you wanted to call it like that. So that's why kat is to burn, but the benefit is going to be applied to something else, as for example burning these pieces to produce heat to cook the food.
So the benefit is used for something else.
Exactly, and the benefit is the other. So it's like cat is cat. It always will apply that or will imply that something else will get the benefit. So as Nawal explains tasks. When you have to do, like for example, paying your house during years and paying to the bank every month, something that is cat, because you have to work, you have to pay, but the benefit is of the other. But also the simple ones, as going for good in the for wood be used for soften, for example, the wood. The benefit or the transformation of energy, as to say it like that, is going to, the benefit is the other. So Kat talks about having tasks, having responsibilities, carrying, let's say, big tasks to resolve, and that's why now following the method for the conceptualization, not the metaphor, the conceptualization. Cat people is always devoted to help the other. Is always doing stuff for the others. Is always the mother that gives the life for the kids to rise up. Is the mother that was suffering all the time and the one that made all the effort to build something. Is always well, it could be the father that has this task, not only the mother, but people is always devoted to help the other, to build the other, to get the other, but the other is going to be primarily the one that is going to receive it. Or there's a further or meta-purposal benefit in something else. Cat is to burn, but to burn and to produce a result, but it's not in cat as such. Cat is the medium to get the benefit.
Okay, so we have a lot of words for kat. Adultery. Okay, so could we go to the next one? I'm looking for kan.
No, but it is not going to be used all of the. It is not going to be used all of the words that begins with cat. It's only a selected ones. In the case of cat, it is katik. Katik. Yeah, it also serves for the conceptualization of paying a debt, for example.
Why?
As I told you, for example, you have to pay your house during years to the bank every month, paying. At the end, you pay the triple the price of your house. The one that got the benefit was the bank. Okay, at the end it's yours, but you have to make such a big effort during years to pay 3 times what is the real value of a house. That is cat. That is an very easy way to say it. So it's paying a debt. When you have complication in your life and we go to the mountain to pay to the owners, to the wind, to the rivers or whatever you want to call it, the spirits, if you wanted to call it, the consciousness of the earth. You can use whatever word you want. That the verb we use is atik also. We have to pay. We're going to pay. We're going to give this fire for the benefit of something that is in my mind, in my ideas, in my heart, as a project. That's why the fire and the Mayan ceremony is also associated with cat, because you are going to pay. You are going to produce a fire that is not your benefit or not direct benefit. It's something because you have been sick, you have blah, 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 blah. You have been having trouble. Well, you're going to pay. You're going to produce the fire that is going to be the benefit of something else.
Kat.
See the idea?
So I understand. Katik.
That's katik. That's for cat. There are some other keywords, but for cat, or to put things in ashes. That's another way to say it.
To put things in ashes.
Now, I don't know if it's put to burn to ashes.
To burn to ashes.
Yeah.
That's an kat is ah.
Kat is ah. What?
Fire. Kat,
oh yeah.
Kat om.
Yeah. Also, cat can function for the metaphor of the pregnancy of a woman. A woman is using her own energy is transformation, energy as such. Let's say the food and everything. We can talk about energy in that system. And she is making the transformation, and the receiving one, the beneficiary, or the one is the baby. She's using her own energy, but the real thing is to build and produce the life of the baby, and the baby is the one that is going to receive it. Pregnancy is also cut because the woman is using the energy. Her energy, and the benefit is the other, or the thing is the other.
Benefit is the other. That's very interesting. Okay, so I'll think about that. The next one is ka'an, and it says angry, mean disposition, and that's all.
Okay.
Oh, there's no other words near ka'an.
Well, the key words is ka'an watch.
What?
That it means that ka'an watch. It means angry is his face, and it is talking about fury. Nawal Khan is this Nawal that is related to the stellar serpent and the thunder and all these elements of nature that show this big amount of let's say once again energy, or this big presence as a thunder in the night. And I'm not talking about like a cool ha. I'm talking about the light and the big presence of thunder in the night, announcing that the rain is coming. And if you saw, that is not a sweet presence in the sky. That is fury. That's why can is applied to express things that when they appear, they have this big, frightening presence. Can people are persons that you have to be you have to develop an intelligent relationship with persons now. Well, can, because they can explode in fury. They have a big presence. They are very dominant. So can is always you can reduce it to fury. Can watch is the same. Fury is in his face.
Can watch.
Can watch.
Can watch. And here is kan adik. Kanarik, to become angry.
Ishkanarik. Ishkanarik is already angry. Ishkanarik is something like, woo, man, you better not return to your house, because Ishkanarik is shock.
My girlfriend is angry.
Your woman is already angry. So you better be humble.
Kanarik, to act in a mean way. Kanan to act in kananik.
No, that word is not applied.
Okay. That's interesting. To act in a mean way is not applied. But being angry. Kanarik is okay.
Ishkanarik, yeah.
What?
But there's another anarik, but it depends on the pronunciation that is going to be applied to kanil. Kanil is anarik, ishkanar. It's another, but it's almost the same. But this one is applied to anil. Anarik or ishkanar means that something is green, is yellow, and ready to be harvested, and it has too many ways of understanding. Like a woman or a man ready to be married, like time to harvesting things that are ready to be harvested in a metaphorical way. But that is another key word. But which anar is the other. But well, little by little. So there are persons that say anok. For Nawal can also anok as not to be that it means anok not to be left behind, I don't believe that that is a key word for can, but some people use them. It depends, but the most common is can watch. Rollo wal. It's another way to say it. Rollo wal, which it's something that is in fury. The presence is frightening, as the stellar serpent in the night. When the rain is going to come, and the Lord of the sky is announcing rain is coming. That's can.
That's very interesting. I'm looking for the next one here.
Kame.
Yeah, kame. Kame. There's Katz. Kiev.
Kame is morpheme of being dead, but once again, death in the old Mayan ways is nothing morbid or really attached to, for example, murdering or death in the sense of bad luck or something. It's more related to the ancestors, the ones that your blood lineage, the ancestors, the support. We believe everything is alive, so their consciousness are over there, here and there. They can listen, or they can still listen. We don't believe in reincarnation, for example.
Why not?
So
why don't the Mayan people believe in reincarnation?
Well, that's the basic of the universe. If you believe that something is going to go through ages or cycles, being reborn in a body or attached or to do, is to deny the power of the mother or as creator. The mother creates you during pregnancy times in the womb. She transforms the energy of herself to give you life. For us, consciousness is from within. So to believe that something is going to inhabit you before or during pregnancy or after you are born is to deny the capability and the power of a woman to be the producer of life. Can you get the picture?
I love that, man. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that.
I sometimes I even get like a little can watch. Angry my face when people ask me things like that in uni lectures, and I said, but I can't believe this woman that is asking me or telling me about reincarnation. Reincarnation is a conceptualization that denies the capability and the power of a woman to be the producer of life. We are the result of our mothers, and there's no other way, scientific way to deny that. She transforms the energy, and as soon as biological beings we are, and we irradiate this biosystem of comprehension, we have a consciousness. That consciousness is from within. It does not come from the outside. So
hold on, wait. Let me ask you a question. What then is the effect of the outside Nawal on the person?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It is not the effect as such for nature. So the Nawal is going to be this. Let's say I'm going to say something, trying to get it in the English language to get a balance with nature.
So the Nawal is a spirit of nature.
I will say spirit is a good word if we took
loosely. I won't hold you to it.
Yeah, the word, but consciousness could be also very. I like to talk about more
consciousness.
Yeah, that's fine. Consciousness and spirit, you can use both.
Sure.
Consciousness.
So the consciousness of nature, but spirit really, like in that way, we could, I guess I would think about it as spirit, because there's 20 Nawals, right?
20 nominal Nawals and 13 number Nawals.
Okay, so they're both Nawals.
Yeah.
Okay. There's 20 and 13.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes in archaeological and anthropological literature, they are called the god numbers and the god days and things like that. It's far away from that. Obviously, it's just once again the application of a conceptualization coming from the Western mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 13 number Nawals and 20 number Nawals, every one of them an expression or some sort of a spirit or consciousness in the universe, in the what is the fabric of us. For example, cat, as we were saying, well, cat is like the transformation of energy, the translation, or to use something, and that is going to be applied to whatever can be applied in any other beyond the Mayan culture to explain whatever. The use of energy, your own corporal energy to try to realize something, for example, an effort to do something, and then you can follow, you can see the Nawals in the nature all the time. That's why they send signals in a branch in the singing of something, because we are constructed. Everything is the Nawals in that sense. That's why I'm talking about consciousness or.
Well, okay. So now, I have only not very many words for Kie in a day in the sacred calendar, and the first ranked mam, and Kia is horse, and Kia ach, to mount a horse symbolically. Kia bie. If we're talking about forces of nature, and the Nawals being spirits or consciousness of different parts of nature or the universe, even, which is, that's it's interesting to think about nature as the starry night sky, but it is, and the Nawals are there, so it's sort of the fabric of the universe. Yeah. So I guess I
So,
was.
for example, kech, yes, is the deer as such, and this is very complex. Now, I want to talk about because, for example, but also applying a word queja, that it means the act of what the right or queja. But also following the conceptualization, queja or writing also can mean that the Nawal people, the Nawal Kech people wants to write you. They always have to be, they are always very bossy. They are going to all, yes, well, am I talking about your wife? And they are always very bossy. They want you to the horse. They want you to carry all the stuff. Kech people is kechach. They like to be the riders. In this case, it's not that they are the deer. So quejar is to put the responsibility in other. It's like when they say, "Oh, it is your duty. You have to do it," and they are very bossy and very dominant, and they don't want to do stuff. They apply and they put the responsibility on you. That is quejar. How they are dominant. How they want to be the bossy. But for example, you can follow the quej as such. Quej, that the deer, and the deer is a protector of the spiritual guide. And also is a metaphor for the table that we use as a shrine, as an altar. And it's a beautiful metaphor. I'm just going to say the simple thing, like this table is a deer, because it's going to protect the earth with the belly, because in the bottom of the altar, Mayan altar, is the earth, and it's going to carry the stars and the sun, the moon, and the stars in the back, because in the upper part of the table is the representation of the sky in the Mayan altar. So the table that has 4 legs is a deer, and the deer is the protector, because also Nawal people are very protective. They tend to protect. But you have to maintain them. They like to be maintained. They are kihach. They are going to ride you. You better have to, you know that they are bossy.
It's very funny.
And there are so many, Kech has so many, Kech has too many, so many conceptualizations. Because also, for example, there's these things that talk about Kech in the sense of, for example, a deer, a horse, and a mule. Although horses and mules didn't appear just after a European invasion in our lands, is a way to make a metaphor. For example, let's say to any stimuli, to reality, to something that appears in front of you. Are you the deer, the one that is very sensitive and is going to run or is going to make a response? Are you a horse that you have to receive orders? Or are you a mule that is not going to do anything about anything and is just going to go and to be leaping like a rock? And Ke has too many significations to talk about, but Ke is strength, to be bossy, to be dominant, to quejar, to write, to put the responsibility on the other. They like to be maintained. They eat too much.
I remember you said they ate too much a long time ago. I thought that was very interesting.
Mostly related, and talking about NAWALS, is related with the fact that the mother has something as a diet, some illness or restriction during pregnancy. The mother maybe was a little bit weak, and she had to be on a, let's say, like a programmation or something. She lacks something. There's some scarcity during pregnancy. That's why they have this tendency to the Nawal people, the baby in the primordial, primal consciousness, remember scarcity. Something very peculiar.
Well, okay, this is one more question. I have to go back to cat then. During pregnancy, is there a burning for the other?
Well, I'm going to, yes, I'm going to tell you. Everybody listen carefully. It's something that has to be with the original idea of being pregnant. Although there are some variations, mostly is the pregnancy moment in which the mother use the baby or make the planification of pregnancy to make an establishment of the relationship with the father, or to get the father, or to stay, or to conquer, or to. It's like, oh, oops, now I'm pregnant. You have to marry me. Unfortunately, is not that thing. Like, yes, it's a desire baby. Yes, it will be different levels of interrelationship between the mother and the father, but the conceptualization of what is happening during pregnancy as a way to retain or to get another purpose beyond pregnancy as such. And now, what you are already listening is that the Nawal is also a conceptualization of how pregnancy is. So, atik, to burn, to give the energy of, or the fire or the strength for the benefit of other. At pregnancy is the baby or the pregnancy moment that is used to get another result than to pregnancy as such. So the line, the connection.
To burn for the other, or it's the energy is used for the other?
Yeah, the most common thing, that it not means that is the only explanation, but the most common is when the woman gets pregnant, It can be also in the other way, the men making or getting pregnant the woman to get the woman. There's a variation. If the father stays, then it's kat. If the father is not, it's ahmak most of the time, when the mother has to resolve all the pregnancy time by her own. And some variations, but it's 260 basic variations of pregnancy, indexes of a study of different pregnancies according to how mother and father get in connection emotionally, sexually even.
That's funny. The sexually thing is very funny because I never imagined that, you know?
Well,
it caught me by surprise, but yeah.
Yes, well, but it's very obvious because it's very obvious because we are the result of a sexual act.
Don't say that, Apabyan.
Well,
Somebody might hear you.
Maybe till the 19th century. Well, all the humanity was that. Now there are insemination processes and everything. But if your father and your mother they were, let's say, in this big good relationship, the energy, the youth, good idea, I don't know. It's going to be very different if you are the last in a family and they are raised 20, they have 15 years of relationship, very bored for sexual act. Maybe you are going to be the last. Maybe there is already 3 previous kids. That's very important, but because that's the creation, is the way in which the feminine energy or the feminine ADN, whatever you want to call the masculine, is the moment in which everything is going to be the creation. The Mayan calendar gives you the key to understand which was the interrelationship between the mother and the father, or the mother and the
father. Or baby, maybe.
The father. No, I was thinking.
And the who? The doctor?
And the doctor, yes, and
her boss.
The object, jeringa. The syringe.
Syringe, okay.
Between the mother and the syringe, but also you can.
This is the future Mayan calendar, year 3000.
Yes. But well, let me give you a good advice. If you are going to have babies, have good sex with your wife, because there's a relationship that comes in very, very interesting in the Mayan calendar, that the way the baby begins to understand drama, trouble, problems, but the resilience and the way any given woman or a man, baby, the way they recover from drama, trouble, illness, whatever, is very related to how we analyze a good moment of creation. The better or the more energy implied during sexual act, the stronger the health in a baby and the ways to recover from illness or drama. The better the stability, the emotional stability of a baby. Now that I'm saying, it looks like a mystery, but it's very easy to understand that it is not the same if the woman already had 4 kids, or if it's the first and she's young and everything. Much more, or moreover, if she's in love, and moreover, if the sexual act is a good one. Those things, those rings really count, and you can see it in the Mayan calendar. That's why I'm talking about. I'm so happy about this book because although I don't explain all the cases because it's impossible to explain, it is very reasonable that you are the result of how you were conceived and how you were created. That's our result. I apply the metaphor of the peasant that is in the mountains, waiting for the rain and waiting for to sow the seed, the peasant is not going to make any mistake. Has to calculate, especially in not irrigation systems of producing food, the correct time, the way the clouds move, the way the water has behaving, or as I said in the beginning, how the spider is constructing the spider web. He has to be aware of several things, and he's going to choose the best moment, the best day, and especially in Mayan lands, is even going to make a prayer and to go happy to do stuff, and is not going to apply just one single whole. And that's another explanation. It has another explanation, and he's going to apply all the knowledge to do the best. But we don't do, and we don't apply that knowledge to all of us. We never return to, well, maybe they love each other, maybe they don't love each other, maybe I was expected, maybe I wasn't expected, maybe it was a very sad fuck, or maybe whatever. But we don't, when thinking about that, it's very more than reasonable, more than clear, and we can see the statistics of how health, emotional stability, resilience to go after trouble, drama, problems, learning processes, the bodily processes of growing to be a mature, that sexual act and pregnancy is encoded in the Mayan calendar.
Yeah, it's very humble. It's a very humble way to approach the Mayan calendar.
Well, if you think, well, when you talk about, let's say, in general terms, well, let's talk about the universe or whatever. The feminine energy and the masculine energy, entanglement of particles or whatever. Every time there is something that is going to combine a feminine principle and a masculine principle to produce a third party, well, you can apply it to several things. For example, business. If a person has the idea and a person has the money, the person that has the money has the masculine energy or spirit or consciousness or masculine part. The person that is going to develop, as cat developed, give the energy, the other energy for another purpose, is going to have the feminine energy, consciousness, or spirit, or whatever part that is masculine and feminine. Obviously, and that is a business stuff, the money and the developer. And in nature, the rain, the masculine, the earth, the developer, the sky, and then the sun, the sunrise, and everything, the masculine part and the feminine part. Everything that you can define as something producing a third party or a third element is going to combine feminine and masculine. Yeah, when talking about human beings, we have to talk about sex.
Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful.
Now talking about, once again, about the simple observation of nature. So
okay.
Today I was with my dentist, and I was and she heard that the Mayan calendar showed me something that is very peculiar. There is people with good teeth beyond sugar or beyond chemicals or processed food, and people with bad situation of calcium even in bones. And I explained her just briefly, as I'm going to do with you, that relationship between a mother that feels that she's not loved or that she's not loved during pregnancy, and whenever a woman, for any reason, has the sensation, or a woman experiences the real sensation, it does not matter for the consciousness, inner consciousness of the baby, there's no distinction. And I can tell you, 100% cases, if the mother has this, baby is not going to have a good calcification. That it means weak teeth or weak bones. It is amazing that we can calculate that. For example, someone comes to the consultation. We are in front of the altar. This person gives you the birthday in the Western world. You calculate the Maya. Well, that maybe the consultation is going to be about bones. It is encoded in the Nawals. Some Nawals are showing a dominant woman during pregnancy and weak woman during pregnancy. That does not matter. That seems not to be important. But let's say, for example, that the mother was too dominant and watch fury in the face. And the husband or whatever is not that lovely, and anyways she feels that she's not being loved, that baby is going to have drama, especially in the knees and in the ankles and elbows, and especially in the back or the column. But there could be the other opposite case, a sweet, let's say, soft woman that is not loved because the other has a lover or whatever. Whichever the reason, there are dozens of possibilities. But if it's a dominant woman, it's going to be more, a dominant woman that feels or she's not loved is more to be attached to the bone system of a baby. A soft, sweet, let's say submissive, as if you wanted to say it like that, woman during pregnancy is more directed to weak feet. Even also problems related to the eyes and some other parts where calcium has a special part. It is very peculiar that we say, well, the Nawals also can explain illness, and when you are asked, that is the point. The moment of pregnancy, evidently, the woman is in a biochemical act. All that she is receiving is going to be transformed for the baby, and any lacking or something, or any excess or something, or any blocking that she can produce because emotional whatever, is going to be directed to the baby. And you can see it also you can also see Nawals, and this is something very peculiar for medicine. Uh, um, for doctors, for medicine as such, because all the any condition that you can talk, even autism and Asperger's,
Yeah.
or any condition that you can mention is going to be related to the process of pregnancy, lacking, excess, or whatever, or well, it is very interesting to go back to the pregnancy moment to analyze that. It is fascinating, let me tell you. And also, well, as we were saying, fucking or having sex, it's not that good to be a sad fuck. It's better if they enjoy it the moment, and you're going to be more resilient, and your health is going to be better. Sadly, but it's a retransmission of energy, or a retransmission of a mood, the retransmission or the direct impact of the creation mode. We always apply that conceptualization for things like, but you couldn't do it because you begin like this, or you have a good spirit. Every time you started something, you are very energetic, but we don't apply that knowledge to us. Why? It is that difficult to. We cannot do anything. We can analyze and say, well. That's what they did, mother and the father, or whatever. But now we can change things, and we can begin to apply that same things. Like, okay,
so like the next Nawal is Kanil, and you mentioned that there were many metaphors associated with Kanil, but I don't see very many here.
Um, Well, canil also has how can I say it? Also canil has different things, different conceptualization. Mostly is the morpheme, that it means yellow. And from then you can construct different things, as for example, the corn plant is green during growing and during some part of the year. In some part of the year, when the process is over, then the plant is yellow. And that is the beginning of all the metaphors that you can use for
So
that.
we have kan koch, kan pur, which is yellowish tan from dirt. Kan koch, tan colored, yellowish brown, and that's it.
Yeah, that's not that much. For Nawali purposes, is un yellow, yellow, anar, like getting yellow or ready to be ripped, and abar, that is rotten, to get rotten. And it has a very, very, very deep connection to the water also, because anil is the seed, but the seed is going to be always connected to the amount of water. So if a seed is, let's say, has the correct amount of water, the seed is going to sprout and to no, it's going to germinate and then to grow. And the correct amount of water is going to make the plant grow till the moment of producing flowers, to sprout, and to produce new seed. But the excess of water is going to make it rotten since the beginning, maybe since being a seed. So anil, the seed, is always very related to water in that sense. That's why the meanings are an, as something that has already been grown to produce, or abar, to be rotten, because if you don't apply the exact proportion of what the seed needs, you are going to get it rotten. Then you have to follow the nature's metaphor. You can see people can eat. People can eat is very productive, but they also can lose. And they can be as rotten as to say people with let's say dependency on things, and it could be not only substances but say emotional things, toxic relationships, things like that.
Rotten.
Yes, very important to understand that. It's very, very, very important. Obviously, this needs hours and hours of things, but at the end is once again, at the beginning it sounds like, wow, what are you talking about? But no, it's very easy. It's very easy to understand.
Sure. The next okay, well, let me stop actually and talk about Canil for a second because it's interesting. When it was first introduced to me, it was introduced as a star and a rabbit, and to learn that it was a seed or a vagina was taken many, many years later, and yellow, of course. And so I've the understanding of that Nawal for me has evolved and changed a lot over time.
Yeah, well, the start relationship is very easy because it's Venus, and Venus the cycle is 260 days. So you can, and mostly, not all, but mostly, The corn also and the human body has the 260 days creation system. So Anil also represents or talk about having a seed, the conception of and the germination of a seed. So the relationship with Venus, the corn, and the human creation is direct. That's not that difficult to understand. The rabbit is because of rottenness, intoxication. Because Nawal Anil people tend to be heavily abusers of substances. Elvis Presley, he was number two. People can lose the control; they can be rotten, and the rabbit in the moon, it is a representation of being intoxicated. But the problem is that during the European invasion, some of the concept of the real contents and conceptualizations of NAWALS were lost. Constructed and by the experience of the elders, but the elders were without internet, new age lore, and things like that. So you have to think deeply. But at the end, now we made all the connections. The seed, the vagina, the conception, germination, sprout, the correct amount, water, intoxication, the rabbit that is a representation of rottenness or get even drunk, and the seed as such, and Venus, and so everything is interconnected, and it is going to be by the axis of growing in the proper proportion, like to sprout and produce nature, just like as a conceptualization of things, and the unproportioned things of stuff, and then you are going to get rotten, destroyed. The nature or the substance of the original seed is going to be destroyed, is going to get rotten. See, it's about, then Nawal Kanili is about proportion, and that's another of the ways in which is related, for example, to the moon, because the moon changes in size. It's like getting proportions. But there must be.
I thought it was related to the moon because plants are following the moon.
That can be also, but it's about proportion.
The seed metaphor of a water, that just not too much water, but just enough water.
Yes, and if you analyze the Nawal and you see how the Nawal is composed, Nawali Mosh, that is the water, is always going to be a key part of any Nawal person. For example, now applying to a person. It's not necessarily the exact to water as such, as a substance, but to a people or to Nawali Mosh. All the Nawals are interlocked in that sense, for example. Now, for example, Nawal Anil, we can define it as a feminine Nawal, and it's a Nawal that is going to grow in the exact proportion. Now, we talk about Kej, a masculine Nawal that likes to domain the other. Those ones can be a couple, because one wants to domain, and the other grows in exact proportion. Those are in love.
That's interesting. My friend has two twins. He has twins, and they're I think they're Kia and Camille kids, and they're a funny mix. Okay, the next Nawal is Toch. Now let me stop again with Toch, because I always thought Toch was to pay for the other.
No, that's cat.
Okay.
Toch is also a payment, but this payment, the different. I'm going to say something that is very. That is a very intelligent question. If cat is the fire and toch is also an expression of fire, which is the difference? Cat is to pay, is to pay for the other, but toch is also a payment, but in the sense of sacrifice. Which is the difference? Toch pays to be in dominion. Toch pays to be the ruler. That's why toch is also the Nawal energy that explains Ahawarrem, the reign of the Lord. Because it's another way of in Nawal Cat, you are not the beneficiary, it's the other. In Nawal Toch, your payment is a sacrifice, but you are the ruler. It will cost you everything, but it's yours. For example, every single payment that you did to the bank during years is Nawal Cat because the beneficiary is the other, and at the end you are paying 3 times the price of your house. The last payment, when you got the papers, is Nawal Toch because all that sacrifice is yours, and now the house is yours. You are the ruler. So different.
It's very interesting, yeah. How can I say? One is you're paying for the other, and the other is you're getting paid.
No, you're the beneficiary. Let's talk about that.
That's a huge. That's the difference. Say, is the beneficiary of cat is the other, and the beneficiary of toch is you.
Is you as ruling, demanding. For example, being in a very let's say difficult situation of saving money and blah 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 blah. It's not cat because at the end that money and you bought a car. But you have to sacrifice. It was painful. You get ill about that. But at the end, it's your car. Cat defines the other. When you have to raise a kid, and at the end, he goes to Europe and marry over there and forget about you. That's cat. So it's about, but toch is deeper in the sense of sacrifice because Nawal toch suffers.
Cat,
you got it at the end.
But cat does not suffer.
No, yeah, he's suffering, but not in that sense. So the difference is it could be just the word. Toch is the sacrifice, but the result is for you. It's painful, but it's for you. Cat is related to the other, to the benefit of other, and it could be obviously positive as. When you raise a kid and you send it you send the kid to university and everything, well, he's going to be the direct beneficiary of that.
So let's I'll go through what it says here about toch, what I can read. Toch, day in the sacred calendar, and a treasurer, a mam. What is a mam?
Mam is an elder. An elder grandfather or grandmother, an elder, a mam. No, a grandfather, a mam.
Okay, and it's different. It's different from there's a group of Mayan people. It's a language. It's called the mam language. It's different from that?
Maybe. I don't know what you are really reading, but toch is direct. Toch is the morpheme of the word pay. Toch means to pay. It's related to...
Toch mak, to pay. Toch, to pay something. Toch bal, price, interest. Toch,
yeah, that's it.
Toch bal mak, fine. Toch bal, is it? Kich?
Yeah, tochopal. Tochopal as payment. Tochonik as tax additional payment. Tochonik. When you have to pay more than what is expected, it's also toch.
Tochik.
But it's your sacrifice.
How about tochik? Tochik. Tochik. To pray. Tochik. Toch abik. To conceive a child. Is that the same?
Yeah, it enters into classification to conceive a child because is the other part of the primordial or the primal fire is going to be you. Is your sacrifice also.
Okay.
Toch is sacrifice.
How about this? This is an interesting one. Toch och ik. To cascade down, water down a mountainside.
No.
Not.
No, does not apply. No.
Okay.
Tojonik.
I'll give you one more and then I'll stop. Toch och. To hiccup.
No.
Doesn't apply.
No, is the another word does not begins with toch, but is ahawarem, to have the domain, to rule over something. Another one is ka, that defines toch, that is bitterness, something that is bitter. Because sacrifice is not always like, I'm going to sacrifice myself. Nah, you go through bitterness. And it's related to cacao, and cacao that is bitter, as in bitter chocolate, but at the same time, it was the coin, the payment, the seed that was a payment. Once again, payment, domain, sacrifice. Another conceptualization from being ruler in the Mayan world is that the ruler was a sacrifice. It was to offer blood. The ruler has a heavy responsibility even in these modern times, in Mayan towns. To rule is not a privilege. It's a heavy burden. It's a sacrifice for the commonwealth. But in this case, the Mayan way, the rulers are having heavy responsibilities. Is bitterness.
I really like what you said about cocoa beans or cacao and bitterness, because that's something I've known toch a little bit over my life, and that's something I've encountered and had to deal with, is a bitter person. Yeah, and
well, nobody wants to be the sacrifice. Nobody wants to be. So Nawal toch people, all of them, the 13 variations from 1 to 13, they have bitterness all the time. They build or they hold bitterness.
They build and hold. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, because it's not funny to be the sacrifice. It's not funny to be the sacrifice payment for something. And
what the bitterness?
In the Mayan way?
Yeah.
Nawal toch people must, the direct one is to be a spiritual guide, to understand all the interlocking and the relationships of all the Nawals, to understand and to balance everything. And the Mayan way is, the Mayan payments is based precisely in fire. Is done by fire. Is firing something.
Now,
for example,
go ahead.
For example, the ceremony is toch in the sense that you use fire, and is kat in the sense that is applied to get another purpose or something beyond, or is that this fire is going to be used for another purpose. What Nawal toch people does is to pay this fire instead of their own energy, because toch people suffer so much in the body. They are all mentioning toch people, and has something in the body, and that is it's like they are the payment. So paying fire and doing this stuff is like making an interchange in which their energy or their strength or their consciousness is not being taken anymore. It's given through the fire. That's the Mayan direct way.
I really like that. And some of the toch people who I've known over the years maybe would like that also. That's very interesting.
Oh, yes. Nobody wants to be ill just because.
Sure.
Or nobody likes to be the sacrifice lamb.
Lamb.
Now nobody wants to be the sacrifice lamb just because.
Right. No. So
hold on. Just because it was you.
This goes then back to the pregnancy, that the mother is bitter, and there was a sacrifice that was made.
No, to make the connection, there are different ones, but the most let's say, general conceptualization of what is happening during pregnancy moment is that that conditions during pregnancy changed dramatically for the mother, and the mother complains about being a bad moment to be pregnant. Mostly the father is not behaving correctly, or mostly on those times the father is producing pain in the mother, so the mother begins to complain or begins to even to feel sadness about the moment. The baby noticed that is kind of even sometimes regretting the pregnancy. The baby gets bitter since the beginning because the mother is not really happy. The mother is not happy with the situation. The mother is like, oh, poor baby, look what you have to face. Or she's not happy during pregnancy. That's the most easy way to say it. So, and it goes to some disorder in the father. And the mother is not quite well.
Okay, I could sort of see that. The mother then she has to finish the pregnancy, and it's a bit of a payment or sacrifice on her.
Aha, that's it.
I see.
That's it. The mother has to make the sacrifice.
That's beautiful.
But
wow.
The father is over. But the father.
Good old dad.
Because there's also conditions in which the mother has to make the sacrifice, but the father is not in there, like Ahmak, for example. Sometimes Hunakpu, sometimes Anil is another one in which the mother has to make the sacrifice, but the father is not, so everything changes. Instead of being Anil, then Nistoch is behaving.
But in Kanil, the father is over there, but
oh God. No, in Anil the father is not, or can be over there, but it's not nasty. It's useless. In Toch, the father is over there, but he's mean, or he's not. He's
misbehaving.
Yeah. Exactly, that's it. As not to make judgments.
Yeah. Generally speaking, misbehaving, and
yeah, exactly, misbehaving.
So then, let me connect this back to Kanil. Kanil is something that needs just the right balance, and it can become rotten. And so, how is that? Sorry to jump around, but how is that condition created during the pregnancy? The father is away, and so the
mother has to suffer everything. The mother suffers all the pregnancy moment. The father could be there, but could be ill, could be old, could be uninterested in this new child. It's mostly related to the useless father. So the mother has always to fight for the pregnancy and to resolve everything. Sometimes even maintain. So the creation of a Kanil person is mostly related to the balance, to get the balance and to get things in proportions, because the mother has to deal with everything.
So that makes
that is not as in Toch. It's not misbehaving. It's not causing drama. It's just useless.
Okay, and then right, and then for example, they're old or not interested or something. In Akmak, the father is away and the mother feels sad.
Exactly, you got it. During Ahmak pregnancy, the father is not over there. Maybe he's like, oh yes, I love you, but he's not. Anyways, the woman has these organs, and they are transforming their energy, but the father is not over there. So for the baby, the masculine balance is lost because there's no father, and the mother has to raise the baby. She can be happy, but anyways, the longing of the masculine side or the masculine part is going to produce this sensation in the ahmak baby, or that they need something, they lack something, that is the masculine part or the masculine balance during pregnancy. Now the ahmak mother has to deal with the absence. She's sad, yes, of course, but not directly to the baby, not necessarily to the baby.
I see. No, that makes sense. They do love that baby.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where Toch, the mother, is the sacrifice, and then Kanil, she is. Let's say that the father is uninterested, but he's not. It's not bad.
It's not bad. Maybe just picture this. Maybe he's ill and he's a lovely one, and anyways, well, he can work. She has to work. She has to deliver the baby, but she has no support of him. Maybe it can be an old one, like the last child of a big family, and then he's like, okay, you are pregnant once again. And the mother already knows how to resolve everything. So it's an absent. It's like an useless father.
And so
in ahmak, there's no father. There's no physical presence of the father.
Okay. And the connection, for example, between Toch, the person, and Toch, the mother's feeling. Okay, and also Akmak, the person, and Akmak, the mother's feeling. But in Kanil, I have a father who's maybe not helpful, and the mother's doing everything by herself, and then an Kanil person is somebody who's I can't see that reflected in their behavior, let's say.
Well, what happens is that the Kanil mother, Kanil, that is the mother that is going to give birth to a Kanil, she has all the pressure, but she's not necessarily emotionally abused or emotionally pressured. Kanil. So the father is over there useless, but she's not necessarily abused or having big drama or big pain. She's unhappy, she's more suffering physically.
I see. So then that makes Kanil a submissive person?
A person, no, not necessarily submissive, but a person that is devoted to help the others. They have this kind of a connection with God, but they are providers because they saw as babies that the mother has lacked, helped. So Anil people tends to be the providers always, because there's a scarcity also, and they tend to protect suffering people, because the mother suffers, but not necessarily in the emotional way. They are providers, as even if you can say it like that, they are compassionate people, because or sometimes also useless, because Anil is rotten, right?
Right.
But
at their best.
But it's based on the scarcities that the mother has to deal with, and the effort that she has to do, the hard effort that she has to do to finalize the pregnancy.
So they will provide because the mother provided.
Or not only because the mother provides, but that she has to find very difficult to provide.
And so that fight the mother has, the baby feels very deeply.
Yeah.
And it provides and protects even people who need help.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you. That helps me sort of understand the mirror between the Kanil and, because the other ones are sort of obvious. I don't know Kanil people very well, so it's been a bit of a mystery for me. These people, I don't know anyone in my life who's Kanil really very well. Okay. I'll ask you one more, and then we could. I'll let you have a rest. Or I mean, it's up to you.
No, maybe it's better to finish, because sure. Do you want to enter into another Nawal?
You know what? No, I mean, of course, yeah, we're not finished, but like, no worries. Like, I think we have lots to chew on here, and it's been very interesting to think about these. But yeah, I'm curious about C.
Let's leave it for the other because this is now midnight here.
Sure.
And and it's raining, and I have pending things to do. To enter in another Nawal is to enter in another universe, and it's going to take us another 20 minutes, 15 minutes at least.
Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me.
We can just put it in your notes, and
sure,
next
yeah,
time
I will.
we can continue with Nawal C.
No, it sounds great. I appreciate it a lot. It was really good to talk to you today.
Well, Nawal C is just a case, but let's leave it for the next.
Sure, no, it's funner that way. There's something to look forward to. Okay. Yeah, have a very great night.
Yeah, I have to do stuff. Well, for example, I have to write back to the.
Congratulations, by the way, on getting publishing in the 3 languages. That's really cool.
Yeah, because and something that is very important for me in the sense that this book is written in the original language and using the original word. So there's an extra validation for the epistemology of the knowledge that it contains. That's this craziness of because it's heavy content.
Sure, it is.
It is not so easy to talk about these things. It's heavy content in the sense of everything that can explain.
It's too big. That's the thing. Where do you start?
Yeah. So, but based on the Mayan calendar is something that is really, or the Mayan authentic, based on the authentic knowledge and the calendar is something. That's why it's very important for to have it in the original language. It validates the knowledge directly, and it's not like this modern New Age lore tricksters that says, "Wow, the Mayan calendar and consciousness and whatever." And you can ask the simple question: How do you say consciousness in Mayan? Give me, show me, tell me. And they don't even know what they are talking about. Well, maybe they exist in Mayan. They are already over there, maybe, but when they shift of consciousness and quantum jumps and things like that, well, tell me how do you say it, please? I'm a Mayan. The grandfather of my grandfather was Mayan. Tell me something, it's my blood. And they cannot even translate consciousness, but they like to use the word, the new consciousness.
To put the access to the authentic information out there, it's been a really challenge for people like me who are all scattered all around the world. That's one thing I can see a map of all the people who listen to the interviews, and there's people everywhere, people all around the world.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Unfortunately, there has not been a good thing. That's why there's no good information to begin with. That's why I'm very happy that this is going to be in the 3 systems, in the 3 languages. The original one, and the Spanish version, and the English one with good linguistic skills from the translator to English. So, and it is now really, really based in something that is the real stuff. Anyways, it's heavy content because you have to rethink your behavior in the sense of sexual act, pregnancy moments, everything. But it's very beautiful. It's a beautiful adventure, and as you can see, the definitions of the Nawals are clear. In reality, are very clear. They make sense. They are very clear in reality.
Yeah, well, that was the really fun part about our discussion today, was going in between the baby's feeling and the event of the mother, and sort of how the grown up person acts these situations out in their life.
Exactly. And that's going to explain, and let me finish with this, and this is very, very, now that I'm going to say it is very obvious, but that is what explains blind decisions. When you said, I cannot deal with this, I cannot stop this, I don't know why I like this, I don't know why I always choose this same kind of persons, I don't know why I can stop drinking, whatever you mention that is a blind decision, is because the decision was taken during primal times in pregnancy and directed to the influence of the feelings of the mother. It's in your consciousness, but it's back there. That's why you cannot having been able to make it conscious in present time, because it's up there, not in here. It's not Freud the one that is going to resolve, it's your mother. And that's why you do those kind of things. The fears, the lackings, the excess, the anxiousness in the mother is encoded our blind decisions. And I think this is a knowledge that the world deserves.
Yes. Yeah, well, the amount of help that it's provided just for me and my own small world has been night and day.
Mm-hmm.
Night and day, just to see everything. For example, yesterday was TZOLKIN, and I got my Japanese driver's license yesterday, and I booked the appointment for this like 2 or 3 months, and I was nervous. Can I get it? Can I not get it? What's gonna happen? The day comes, I have to go. So TZOLKIN, and I'm thinking, I think it's gonna go well. I think I'll get my driver's license, and I did, and it was very, very, it was great. And I would not have known that, if it was TZOLKIN, or does that have any meaning to anybody else? But to me, it was a good signal. I'll say it that way.
Well, just maybe it's complementarity with you. Skin is the bird, is the eagle in the male way. It's the opposite of the feminine jaguar that is Ishbalam. And sometimes, but if NAWAL is in complementarity with you, is complementarity with you because of your birthday, then those can be good days. And the teachings the day in dreams that can give you can be different. Maybe TZOLKIN is going to show you things, or how to deal with the world, how to be more direct with the world. I don't know. Well, let's stop.
Just keep talking. Very, very good.
I will never stop, and
Okay, have a very great night. Thank you very much, and hopefully I'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, and then if you're going to upload this to a podcast, send me a message.
Sure, I will. I'll send it.
To know when to share, because we need to spread this word.
Okay, thanks very much, and Well, that's it for today. Special thanks to our sponsor, the TZOLKIN Explorer app, which you can download for your iPhone or Android at the Play Store or App Store. Don't forget to check out the Maya Kiche University in the link below. Thanks for listening, and keep on living the TZOLKIN.